Hello, welcome to Beach View, our podcast where we talk about all kinds of things. What are we going to get into today?
Today we're doing drugs.
Sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, we're talking about caffeine, everybody's favorite drug.
I didn't realize it was classified as a drug.
I mean, most people don't consider it that because of how ubiquitous it is, but yeah, it is technically a drug.
Yeah. Well, I did read that it stimulates the central nervous system, so that's why it's considered a drug, right?
Yes, it's a stimulant, which, that's kind of obvious if you ever drink coffee.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink coffee, but I do have caffeine, so.
Yes. Yeah. So, what do you know about different sources of caffeine?
Okay, so I know it can be found naturally, obviously, in stuff like tea and coffee, that sort of thing. And then it can be made artificially, right? Don't ask me how.
So.
But yeah, I think there's like artificial ways that it can be added to like drinks and stuff. I don't know how, but
I think one of the ways that's done is by decaffeinating coffee and like extracting the caffeine out of the coffee and then using that in something else, but I'm not positive.
Oh. So it's still kind of naturally occurring, I guess, if that's the case.
I think it can also be synthesized like chemically. Yeah. I don't know though.
I don't know either. That's like the basis of my knowledge. But I know like, chocolate can contain caffeine.
Yes.
Especially if it's like a high percentage of cacao.
Mm-hmm.
So like different stuff like that. That's basically the extent of my knowledge right there.
So the reason I bring up caffeine for this week's podcast is because I did some research about the different sources of caffeine, the different plants that it can come from.
Okay.
And I found that really interesting, and I was like, I wonder if it's possible to drink from all the different caffeine sources. And if you're talking about from species, almost certainly not. Like, you would have to travel all over the world to pretty remote locations and harvest a bunch of different plants. And, there's always the chance that we don't know every plant, that can produce caffeine.
Are you high on the sea right now?
Yes, I have been consuming caffeine.
It sounds like you need a lot of caffeine in your life, like to be doing this research on it.
I just thought it was interesting, to be like, had coffee and tea and stuff. So like, I wonder where else you can get caffeine from.
Yes. Yeah, that is interesting. So I really wonder how, I know they have caffeine pills. Okay, and I remember when I was in high school, like my friend gave me one. She's like, here, try this. And because I was really tired. And I was like shaky. Like I was like, I'm never taking this again. So I'm just curious, like where does the caffeine come from in like something like that? In like a product that's not normally, like those little 5-hour energy drinks or like caffeine pills. Where does that come from?
I imagine it's the same way we were talking about with, like either it's taken from an extract from one of the plants or synthesized, but I don't know that, like, fully.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons it might have made you shaky is because of the amount.
Yeah.
If you're not used to taking a large amount, and caffeine pills tend to be on the higher end.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, nope, never again. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, probably because I don't drink a ton of it. I'm a tea drinker, and I know that has a lower level of caffeine than some other.
Yes, compared to coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, but I probably should drink more. I think it would help. So let's hear it. Like what kind of plants and stuff?
You might be able to drink all the genuses though.
Oh.
Depending. Again, there's always a chance that there are more that we don't know about.
Right.
Just because nobody's ever tested for it, and I'll get into that later. But first, I'm gonna give you a little quiz. You've said 3 of these already, but guess the different caffeine plants.
Okay, so tea, like tea leaves, coffee plants, cacao, right?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about this. What else would be caffeine? Oh. Huh. This is tough. That's all I got. I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I'm missing like some very obvious ones though.
Yeah, so you got coffee, which from the genus Coffea. I don't know if I'm going to be pronouncing any of these right, but yeah, that. And there are tons of different species of coffee plants. I think they all contain caffeine. I'm not positive on that. But most coffee comes from two different species, which is Coffea arabica, and Coffea robusta.
Okay. I think it's Arabica.
Okay, maybe so.
Yes.
Again, I don't know how to pronounce these. And I believe you can buy coffee from other species, but some of the species are not, cultivated to be distributed.
They're more like hard drugs.
Well, I don't think they're like hard drugs. I think it's just nobody grows them for the purpose of turning into coffee.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Then
you said tea, which the species is Camellia sinensis. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
And also, other plants from the genus Camellia might contain caffeine. I don't know if all of them do. I do know some of them do.
Oh.
But from my limited research on this, you can't find any for sale. Like, these aren't grown to be made into tea. So all the tea you get comes from the one species.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Granted, if you're talking about tea, the plant tea, and not tea as in, any sort of plant thing you put in boiling or near boiling water to drink.
Yes, okay.
Although you might be able to find these other species of the plant if you live in countries like Japan, China, or Vietnam.
I was going to say, I know India grows a lot of tea.
Yes, or India.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's like if you live in East Asia,
region,
Southeast Asia, there are different species that some of them are cultivated because for their appearance.
Yeah.
Apparently they look pretty.
Oh.
And I guess if you lived in Japan and went to a local tea shop, you might be able to find tea from a different species that contains caffeine.
Yes, that's true. And I know Africa has some different types of tea. I wonder if they have different species that we just, don't know about,
It's possible, but as far as I'm aware, unless it is not natively grown there, that the stuff there doesn't contain caffeine.
Ah.
But I didn't do a ton of research on this, so.
Gotcha.
And like you said, chocolate. Theobroma cacao.
Cacao.
Contains caffeine. Potentially other Theobroma species, one of which I could confirm that was grown and eaten by the indigenous Mesoamericans that grew it, but the Europeans who came didn't like it as much as chocolate, so it is not as widespread.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a separate
yeah, it's a separate species in the same genus.
I wonder if it's delicious or not.
I mean, apparently it's like chocolate, just not as good. I don't know. I've never had it.
You better do some research, man. You better get some of that.
Well, the thing with this is that they're hard to get because of, if they're just not something that's cultivated for sale.
Yeah, right.
Alright, and one you missed that you probably should have gotten is cola. Cola nuts.
Oh! I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that used to be the source of caffeine in, different sodas, colas.
Yes.
And the main two are, from my research, was Cola nidiata and Cola acuminata. But there are other species of the genus Cola. I'm not sure if they contain caffeine or not.
Interesting. Yeah, I was trying to think like what's in like Coca-Cola and like soft drinks that would be caffeinated, but I just wasn't sure what it
Yeah,
came from.
they don't source from cola nuts anymore. I imagine it's cheaper to do something else.
I wonder what they do.
It's probably the same, like either extract from coffee or from like synthesized or whatever.
Yeah. Huh.
But that also means it is hard to find cola like as a source of caffeine because most colas switched from the cola nut as its source to something else. There are a few that still use cola nuts in their formulation for the flavor it has, that your specialty soda brands that have oh, this is the old school
Right.
like soda flavor or cola flavor. But I don't think that that's their only source of caffeine.
Interesting.
And I guess you could buy it in nut form and not drink form.
You ought to try that.
Apparently. Alright, and one you probably wouldn't have gotten, but might have had, and you might have been aware of, is guarana. So that is a plant from South America, and it is used in energy drinks.
Oh.
The genus Paulinia cupana. So.
I don't know that I would have gotten that one because I don't ever drink energy drinks.
Have you ever before?
No, I don't. I mean, like I've had a Red Bull and vodka before. Does that count?
So, yes.
But I never, I don't like energy drinks. I don't like the way they taste. And so, I mean, I've taken sips of it. I've never like drank a whole one.
Okay. Well, you have had this then. But it's
also...
I
guess I have,
used in some South American beverages and sodas and stuff. So.
I should have known that, though, because, I know, like, some of them say, like, naturally derived or whatever, and I never thought, like, okay, what is it derived from?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guarana, that's the plant.
Guarana.
And there is another species in the genus Paulinia, Paulinia yoko, which is apparently not cultivated and sold, but was consumed for its caffeine by the indigenous people in the area it grew. So I think that's in the northern Amazon is what I read.
Oh, cool.
All right. And
so how many of these are there's more?
Yes, there's more.
Oh, keep going.
So here's one you might have gotten, but might have maybe thought was a type of tea. So different species of holly, or from the genus Ilex, there are 3 or 4 that contain caffeine.
I wouldn't.
You might have gotten.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yerba mate. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sure you've heard of that at some point.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Oh,
no, I don't think so.
I've seen it yerba mate drinks advertised.
I guess I'm just not that cultured,
okay. Well, it's
no, I don't know.
Ilex paraguayensis.
Oh.
Bad at pronouncing things.
That's okay. You've never heard it said before, so...
Yeah. But, yes, that is, yerba mate.
Okay.
Another type of holly. Yerba mate's from South America. Ilex guayasa.
Ooh.
Again, not sure about that. Also, you can also find those, both of those sold. I don't know if, that one has a common name. It might just be sold as, guayasa.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of that either. Oh, like Wyaska.
Like what?
Wyaska? Is that how you would say it?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of ayahuasca.
Yeah, I think you're thinking different. Of something else.
That's something different. Never mind.
Yes.
Ayahuasca. Okay, sorry. Never mind. Continue.
And then Ilex vomitoria.
Ooh.
The common name for that is yopan, which is potentially the only caffeine-producing plant native to North America.
That doesn't sound appealing. Vomitoria.
Okay, well, the reason it's called that is because some of the indigenous people who drank it had a ritual that was a like vomiting ritual or
Yeah.
involved vomiting, so the settlers named it that. You can call it
Wonderful.
Yopan if it makes you feel better about it.
Yeah, I don't want to be vomiting.
And there is a potential fourth species of holly that might contain caffeine called Ilex cassine, which I saw some research that indicated that it did, but some others that said it didn't. And the one that said it didn't was more recent, cited the previous one and said that their methods were better for determining that, so
Oh,
it
okay.
might not actually contain caffeine.
So we don't really know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The research would indicate no, the most recent research, so...
Got you.
Yes, but both of those species are native to North America.
I did not know that.
Yeah, different kinds of hollies that grow on the Gulf and East Coast, so in the southeast.
Oh, I wonder if we have any here.
I don't think so, actually. I think looking at its range, it skips your area.
Aww. Of course it does.
Yeah. So... And some wild cards. Citrus flowers. Apparently the flowers of some citrus plants contain caffeine.
Really?
I saw multiple, like more than one research paper that indicated that that was the case.
Citrus. Interesting. But the flowers,
Yes,
not the
the fruit.
Hmm.
So I guess you could make citrus flower tea, and that would be caffeinated. I don't know how that would taste, or if that's like if citrus flowers have other things that could get you sick or not, but...
Right, yeah. Huh.
And then various other plants that I saw, sources would say contain caffeine, but I couldn't find any research that would indicate that.
I'm sure it's in, like you said, a lot of stuff that we just don't know about,
Yeah.
Like it's probably in, but we just haven't cultivated or, used it a lot.
Right, and, like with citrus flowers, it's like, why would you know that?
Right.
It's like, there might be something that does contain caffeine, it's just not something that people eat, so it's not known about, or it grows in the same area as another caffeine plant, and people discovered the other one first, and it's like, well, if you already have a source of caffeine,
Right.
why would you, go for another one?
I wonder if there's, like, things that indigenous cultures still use, that is just not widespread.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And one weird one that I saw multiple research papers indicate contained caffeine. It's not a plant, it's a fungus, Claviceps sorgicola.
What is that about?
So it's a fungus in Japan, and Claviceps, as a genus, are known as ergot more commonly, and they're a parasitic fungus that grows on different plants. Now, have you heard of ergot?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know about the other things it does.
No, I don't know. I've just heard that name. Like, I don't really know anything about it.
Okay, well, it's known for growing on rye, and
Okay.
it contains... Hold on, I'm making sure I get this right. So, I'm not positive on the biology of this, but or chemistry, but it contains something that is similar or can be turned into lysergic acid.
Ooh.
Which, do you know what that is?
No, not really. This sounds bad.
Oh, okay. Well, lysergic acid is a thing you can take and turn into LSD.
Oh, okay.
So, ergots can cause hallucinations and, like, convulsions. I mean, among other things, they can also cause, like, bad vomiting and diarrhea, and gangrene.
Or maybe that's why I've heard it before.
And,
I had to have heard it somewhere. Yeah.
So, historically, you'll see, like, anytime you see some sort of, like, dancing plague or, like,
Yes.
mass insanity event, you see something that's like the mass insanity of this one town.
Yes.
A lot of people theorize that they must have gotten ergot fungus in their food or
That
water
must be
supply
where,
somehow.
yes, that sounds more familiar to me now that you're saying that, yes. Interesting.
And apparently one species of this fungus contains caffeine.
Just one, huh?
I mean, from what I saw from the research, yes, which is really weird. And given that, I don't know if it would be safe to consume it.
Yeah, maybe not. I might pass on that one.
Or how, like, well documented it is, you know, but apparently. So yeah, that's, different plant sources of caffeine. How many of these have you had?
I guess. So, I guess you would count the one that's in energy drinks, even though, like, I've really not consumed much of that at all. Guarana. The tea, obviously. Coffee, like, even though I don't like coffee, I do, I'll occasionally have, like, a little bit of an, like, espresso drink, like a latte or something like that. And, of course, chocolate.
Yes.
I don't know if I've had any of the citrus leaves or flowers, whatever. I'm wondering, though, because I order, like, different tea, like, loose tea leaves to make tea. And some of them are, like, tropical that have, like, citrus stuff in them. You know, I don't know if that is...
I imagine they would put the
flower.
Like, fruit and not the flowers in there.
That's what I'm thinking, like, maybe dried pieces of, fruit or something. But I'd be curious to know, like, I'm gonna go look it up after, after this. I'm gonna go see what's in my tea. Because I do order, like, some different ones that are interesting. So, maybe some of those other ones, but I doubt it, you know. So probably, I guess 4.
Yeah.
I would say. What about you?
So those 4 you listed, and I have had Holly, the Yopan. I ordered that recently.
So where did you get that from? Where do you find that? Like online?
Online, yeah. There are, recently there have been more people cultivating and selling that.
Oh.
It's apparently very common along the, like, you know, it exists from Texas up to a little bit of Virginia, so...
Oh, do you get it from, like, a tea distributor, or is
No,
it,
it's
like,
all independent companies.
Interesting.
Yeah, it apparently settlers did drink it, but it fell out of favor mostly for tea in the 19th century.
I wonder why.
I mean, probably just because tea's, like, easier to get a hold of. You know, a lot more people drink it from, you know, England and whatnot.
Maybe so.
And I guess people thought it tastes better, maybe? I don't know. Might also have to do with, like, a class thing. Like, you know, you're drinking an imported plant versus a local plant.
Right. Well, so how is it? Do you like it?
Yeah, it's alright. I don't know if I like it better than tea, but it's not bad.
Well, I usually take my tea the English way with a little sugar and a little bit of milk.
Oh, I haven't done it like that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's how I like to drink. Well, my black tea, I will say. If it's like an herbal tea or something else, a fruity tea, I just drink it, you know, straight up. Or I'll put a little bit of honey in it, like if I have a sore throat or something, you know. But I don't know that I would like that kind of tea if it's not, like, doctored up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's got, like, black and green equivalents, so...
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I would.
Yeah.
Huh.
I did try it with honey, so I thought that was pretty decent.
Well, I'm gonna have to try it, then. I'm gonna have to get some of your stash. I'm gonna just take a little sip of yours. That way I don't waste it if I don't like it. Have you found that the effects are similar to, like, regular tea?
I mean, I assume so, but my caffeine tolerance is higher than tea, so... It does, there are other, molecules that are in caffeine plants, oh god, let me look up what they're called real fast. Okay, theophylline and theobromine, which, this does have in different amounts than tea, so, like, it might have a different sort of effect.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the people selling it claim that because of those different levels, it's a, like, smoother, like, caffeine experience than something like coffee,
Yeah.
which might make someone jittery, but that's might just be advertising fluff.
Well, I've heard of like the theobromine. Don't ask me where, but I know I've read about that before.
Yeah. And you've never had yerba mate or that?
I don't think so. I don't think I have at all. No.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Have you?
No. I've just heard of it. I don't know where. Like, apparently it's sold a lot as like canned iced tea, like that whole group of tea, and apparently you can find it through that. So
let me see what I'm searching. What contains yerba mate? I'm curious now. Okay, so it's a. Oh, I already know what it is, but what is it in?
I mean, you'd probably see it sold as like yerba mate or mate.
Yeah. I don't see like what is it in. Is it just? So it seems like yerba mate is just a tea, and it's used in different tea drinks.
It's a different species, but than like tea proper. But it is like, yes, if you're referring to tea as anything, again, you boil
right,
like any plant you boil to drink. Then yeah.
So, what about like? Well, I guess I'm thinking kombucha, but kombucha is basically fermented tea. So
yeah,
it's still the same as tea. Interesting.
Although something I find interesting about like trying to buy these different sources of tea, either like yerba mate or yopan or these alternate sources, it's like they always advertise as natural, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what?
Right.
Coffee and tea are very natural. I don't know like what you're trying to sell there, but
no. So why are you interested in buying like alternate sources, just for something different?
Yeah, just because I thought it was interesting. I was looking up something about caffeine, and I thought it was interesting that I saw all these different plants, and I was like, I'm gonna try to track down all the different caffeine plants and see what different ones there are.
That's cool. So I've only had a limited scope of caffeine apparently, and I don't drink soft drinks. I might have a couple sips, like not very often.
Yeah.
But mostly I keep it to tea. So I have like probably a low threshold for caffeine, whereas you mentioned you have a pretty high one.
Yes, so. I like drinking caffeine, so I drink quite a bit of it.
But why? Like, I don't understand. I know people who drink a ton of caffeine, and I'm just like, I just kind of go through my day with just like a cup of tea in the morning. I don't, plus some chocolate here and there, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a need for a lot of caffeine. I'm tired. Maybe it'll perk me up, but
it tastes good is one of the reasons. Like, people like drinking coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's certainly like one thing, and I think energy drinks taste really good, so I like drinking those. And those usually have quite a bit of caffeine in them.
Yeah. So you don't get shaky? You're used to it?
Yeah.
I guess that's good. Well, I was reading that you shouldn't consume... Well, and we talked about this as well, previous to this. You shouldn't consume more than 400 milligrams of caffeine, which, you told me, but I thought, I wonder how much that is. So what I read was it's about 4 8-ounce cups of brewed coffee or 10 cans of cola a day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, okay,
yeah, that's a lot.
Nobody should be drinking 10 cans of cola a day. Like, that's disgusting.
Well, people might drink like 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. And even then it depends on like how strong the coffee is. Like, that's in caffeine content, not in like, dark roast, light roast sort of strength.
I think about, though, all the other additives, you know, like typically, oh, and I guess if you're drinking black coffee, you're okay, but people usually add, you know, creamer or, you know, sugar or whatever,
Milk, yeah.
you know, to their drinks. And cola for sure has a ton of additives. I'm just thinking like, no, that's not okay. I guess from a caffeine standpoint of view, it's okay, but like it's...
Yeah, well, if you're drinking
no.
sugar cola, that is a ton of sugar. Like...
Yes, it's disgusting. I try to limit how much tea I drink because I don't want, you know, like I put sugar in it. I don't want a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know. I feel like I could probably use some more caffeine in my life. I feel like I'm behind the curve, you know?
Well, if you want, there is an energy drink that is sourced from, tea extract that you might be interested in. It's only 80 milligrams, which is about double a tea.
Okay.
V8 has, the energy brand, blend, brand, whatever. But,
really?
Yeah, and they're mostly fruit and vegetable juice, so...
Oh, I wonder if that would be good.
So you might be interested in that.
Yeah, I don't find, even if I drink like 2 cups of tea, I don't really feel like any, you know, any effects of it. Now, one time I did, I was real tired. This was a while back. And it was like a Monday at work. And I came home for lunch and I made a latte. And normally I never, like, I'll never just drink a latte, you know. But I was like, let me try it because I don't like espresso by itself and I don't like coffee. So I'm like, let me try this. And man, I got so much stuff done that afternoon. I was like, I need to do this more often. And of course I never did it again, but it does help. And it, like you said, it has some benefits. It has benefits to if you have a headache. Like for me, migraines, I get migraines every once in a while. And you could definitely, like, caffeine definitely helps with that, you know?
Well, it's in some headache medicine, right?
Yeah, like Excedrin migraine, or they have, like, tension headache, like Tylenol tension relief or something. Some of the migraine medicine contains, like, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and caffeine. But I guess I have such a low threshold, like I said, if I take it at night, or like in the evening at all, I am up all night. So I guess I can't say like I don't feel the effects of caffeine, because if I drink tea, like just a small cup of tea, anywhere after like 4 p.m., I'm awake. Like at night, I don't feel the energy at all. I just am awake. And so I try to limit that.
Yeah, that is a common drawback of caffeine a lot of people experience.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just awake. Even if it's like iced tea that I'm drinking with dinner and I just have a little bit, like I'm just up. Like I can't go to sleep at all. But I don't feel that, you know, any energy. So I guess that's when I say like I'm not really that into it, because if it energized me, that'd be great. But I don't feel that effect at all.
Yeah, well, it's different for each person, you know, how caffeine affects you, so.
Yeah. Well, I wish it gave me some, you know, some more energy. Like I take a multivitamin, I'm like thinking like, okay, maybe let me get those B12 vitamins, you know, it's supposed to help you with energy. I don't find that anything helps me with energy, so I think I'm just a low energy person, but maybe I can try some alternate sources of caffeine that you went through. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. And that's another question. Do different sources affect you in different ways?
So I don't know, like, what research has been done into this. I didn't look into that. But in my experience, it does. Like, if I haven't had tea in a while and I drink, like, those V8 energy drinks I was telling you about, you know, they have caffeine from green tea. It definitely feels different.
Yeah.
Than, than normal, but...
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'll, like, try them all together. You try different combinations of them and see, like, see what happens. Let's do some experimenting with this drug. On that note, I do know that, you know, like, caffeine can be detrimental, like, if you have, like, high blood pressure, or if you have, like...
Yeah.
an irregular heart rhythm, like that kind of stuff.
Cardiovascular issues, anxiety, that's...
Right. Yes,
it can
anxiety.
exacerbate that.
Yes. Oh, yes, and I found that out because, you know, I'm afraid of flying, and so I take medication to fly for my anxiety. And one time I was especially anxious, and I had, I think it was a chai latte right before a flight, and it like totally disregarded the anxiety medication I took. And I was like, I had this like heightened anxiety like on the plane. And I was like, oh, I'm never doing that again. Like, that was terrible.
If you want an even worse experience, have an energy drink right before.
Yes. No, I could not. No, that was the only time I was like, oh, like, I was really seeing the effects of caffeine on anxiety. I'm like, never again. That was terrible. It was a harrowing experience, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of them are very acidic, so if you have problems with, like, acid reflux and stuff like that, like, I've seen, you know, a recommendation for that's to cut back on coffee.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I always tell Travis to take a break on the espresso when he's having bad acid reflux, and of course he doesn't listen, but, you know.
Yeah.
That's true. But I always think of tea as more of a healing kind of thing. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just, like, tea to me is like more comforting and mild, I guess.
Well, it has less caffeine. Like, a cup of tea will have less caffeine in it than a cup of coffee.
Maybe that's why, yeah. Yeah, I'm always like, for everything, like, oh, just have a cup of tea. It'll make you feel better. I think that's the English way as well. I don't know why I have this, like, English tendency. Yeah.
And, of course, there's withdrawal from caffeine.
True. Very true. Do you ever experience that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, if I
usually
drink caffeine every day.
Yeah.
Which is not, you know, that's very common for people.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go off of it, I either feel, like, really tired or just go to sleep for, like, take a long nap.
Really? I have heard people, like, who would give up coffee or something, like, for Lent, because we have a lot of Catholics here, and so Lent is, like, a huge thing, and a lot of people, like, give up coffee or caffeine or whatever, and I always hear them complaining of headaches, like, really bad headaches. Yeah, that's another thing.
I don't get that too bad, but...
Yeah.
Although, if you want to go off caffeine, the better way to do it is to, like, slowly cut back.
Yeah.
Like, if you drink 2 cups of coffee a day, try to switch to, like, you know, 1 cup, or, like, try to switch to tea, and then go from there off.
And then, yeah, that's a good idea. I don't think well, sometimes you get off of caffeine, don't you? Every once in a while?
Yeah. That's what I did last time I did it, was, to switch to drinking tea.
Yeah.
And then, like, just tea, which I mean, I do drink tea pretty regularly, but, like, to go from, like, you know, sometimes I'll drink coffee, and sometimes I'll drink sodas, and to just tea, and
yeah,
go from there to off completely, because that's, you know, less caffeine than something like an energy drink or coffee.
That's a good idea. Why do you take a break from it? Just so your threshold doesn't get too high?
Yeah, just to do it. I don't do it very often.
Yeah. Just like something fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound that fun, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, well, I will say, when I'm not on caffeine, sometimes I'll get tired in the middle of the day, and that just doesn't happen to me on caffeine. Like, not for long, just, like, really sleepy for, like, 30 minutes or something.
I feel like I need to up my caffeine now, like, I really, because it's like in the afternoon after lunch, I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired, you know, and I'm working. I feel like I need to add another cup of tea to my routine.
Although, yeah, if it gives you issues with sleeping, that might be something to
that's true.
Worry about. It, like, unless I drink a lot of caffeine right before bed, which I normally don't do, it usually doesn't give me, like, sleep issues. Like, if I have a cup of tea in the afternoon or something.
I cannot, like, I have to watch it, because sometimes, like, as like kind of a date night or something, like my husband and I will go to, a little coffee place and get like a drink. I always get like a tea drink and like at night. And so, but I'll know like I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight,
Yeah.
Which is okay. I'll just sleep later the next day. But it's always the definite consequence.
All right, well, I guess that's been caffeine, various different sources of it, and just talking about it. So, you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it, except I'm going to go fix another cup of tea after this.
Well, I'm going to make some more Yopan after this, so.
Now we're developing drug habits, since caffeine's a drug.
Yes, well, yeah. Yeah, that's been Beachview. Hope you enjoyed it, perhaps with a caffeinated beverage. And we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!